Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And welcome to
There's Something Wrong with the Elizabeths.
Viewing 4.
Yeah.
All right, we're doing good, going strong,
Plugging along.
Yeah. Any thoughts on this viewing?
I wrote down some favorite quotes. I don't have a ton of thoughts of my own, but I enjoyed some of yours and I enjoyed some of Anna's last time. One of my favorite things Lizzie said this time was when Jailbreak is going on her feminist rant. Lizzie said, "Characters like this are why some people hate women."
It's true. Straw feminists, deliver a different view from what I think most people are actually really trying to say that they want. Tends to be less like, hey, I would like to have all women be able to read and go to school, and instead it turns into, don't say the sentence I was planning to say, how dare you? And it's a little...
I was watching The Craft recently, and it reminds me of like the racist character in The Craft, where it's like she's acting in a way that most racists in real life, especially when they're in front of other people, aren't acting. They're like so clearly racist and so clearly aggressive, when especially with women and especially teenage girls, it would be a lot more subtle.
Yes.
And I mean, obviously I haven't been the, a recipient of that, so I'm not saying all racism is subtle, but I will say, like, I would expect teenage girls who are racist to just do it more like, oh, look at your clothes, look at your hair, like, look at you. Like, to dig and attack the way teenage girls go, instead of like, I don't like you because you're black and I don't like black people. It's like, that just feels like such an out for the white people in the audience to be like, well, I'm not like that character, so I'm not racist.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Or like Crash is kind of a more well-regarded, although I love The Craft. I'm not saying anything about it. But Craft won awards, and it was kind of this idea of... Crash.
Yeah.
Yes. Crash won awards of how it was like, oh, look at those people though. Those people are bad. And it's like, yeah, yes, okay, yeah, and that does happen. But also what's more insidious is this idea that you're not racist because you're not like that.
Yeah. So it's like these kind of feminists in media undermine feminism because then they're like, she's annoying, she's bringing up horrible points, like, oh, the feminist agenda, all this girl power in kids shows. And it's like, that's not what this is. That's not what this is.
This is all just a money grab.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay, speaking of money grab, I'm sharing a personal kind of shame. I feel like I don't really have a lot that I did wrong here. I used to work for a science museum, and I was a sleepover host for like 4 years, and then I became the sleepover manager. And one of the things I wanted to bring to being a sleepover manager was theming the sleepovers. We would typically have like a Halloween themed one and a Christmas themed one, and then everything else was just sleepover. So people would basically say, well, I've been to one, I don't need to go back. Because it's always the same science show, it's always the same, like, you get an IMAX movie, and then you go to the exhibits, and that's it. So I said, I want to make them themed so that if each month you can come back and it's different things. My very first one was themed around the Emoji Movie.
Interesting.
Because it was about to come out. It was really, really big. Like, I don't know if you remember, but when this was about to come out, children were losing their minds. Like, this was promoted.
Children at that point.
Oh,
you were probably around
promoted.
Yeah.
So much, and kids were talking about it, and there were stuffed toys and tons of things. And so I was like, well, we'll do an Emoji Movie theme sleepover. So I actually contacted Sony, got a bunch of free stuff that I was able to give out at the sleepover, and then everything we did was around facial expressions. So we did like what different facial expressions in animals mean. It's like, how can you tell your cat I love you, and how does your cat respond? What does it mean when a monkey is smiling, versus a human is smiling? Like, talking about that. And it was really cool. We did like the science of facial expressions and emotions, and it was a huge hit, and actually convinced my boss to let me do this further. So we had like zombie themed sleepover. We had a detective one where we did fingerprints and invisible ink. But
you were so good at that job.
Thank you. I loved that job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I used the popularity of the Emoji Movie
to get free stuff.
To advance the case of science. But yeah. And I mean, yeah, it advanced my job too. And I just cashed in just like all the like Spotify and Dropbox and Sir Patrick Stewart and
I started drinking this viewing, so that's a thing. That's just a different flavor on the things.
Yeah.
What does production babies mean?
Oh, those are the babies that are born to the production team during the time of the movie production. Yeah, Pixar started doing it.
Interesting.
But anyway,
did you have an emoji pop?
I did. I
Okay.
did. When High Five is in the trash and he's looking up at the ceiling, there's a troll that's looking down on him and he says something really mean. And when the troll's talking, you see bits of spit land on the camera and then you see like a lens flare. But I just really liked it. I thought like
Little detail.
pretending that there's a camera, pretending that the troll has spit really was just like a nice little detail. How about you? Any emoji pops?
Yes. So, there's a lot of jokes in this movie, as we discussed. It's like bam, bam, bam. So many jokes. And I would say 99.9% of them easily are just really garbage. I mean, we went that whole first viewing and zero laughs at any of the jokes. But there was a joke that I always liked from the beginning. And it's when Gene and High Five use the limp, lifeless bodies of two fellow emojis.
Which we think they may have killed.
Yeah, because they're sleeping in the loser lounge, but they're like breathing.
They're breathing and snoring and they're active while sleeping. And then the next time we see them, they're like unconscious but not moving.
And one of them is a tree that High Five picks up, and one of them is a cactus that Gene picks up, and they're like, moving them around and walking them around very Weekend at Bernie's style. And then Gene takes off the cactus and he goes, "Oh, I should not have picked the cactus. That was a bad idea." And I think High Five says, like, "You didn't even try to get the tree. Like, it was strange."
Yeah.
And I liked that joke the first time I saw it, but it wasn't funny enough to make me like, it didn't make me laugh. And then there's something about the fourth time I saw it. The fourth time I saw him with that cactus. I was like, Gene, every time you get that cactus, buddy. Like,
what's funny to me is like, on the third viewing, she said out loud, like, one day I'm going to start laughing at this. And you said one day, because that's how it feels.
Yeah.
One viewing. But yeah, you started
and I couldn't help it. I just started laughing at that bit. And I don't know, maybe this movie is making me stupider, but in a way, like, I feel, more joyful at being stupider.
Fine to be joyful.
Yeah. I mean, this is a bad movie, and we've got to watch it for 24 hours, so I'm going to have to turn off a lot of my brain.
Yeah.
Speaking of turning off brain, though, because you and I both do this, where we get into the nitty-gritty of things, and I have a little bit of I don't even know if it's really a theory, but just a design point that has really kind of made my gears turn, is that all the children are so sleepy. Like, they all... The girl Addie looks like she might have some, like, black eyeliner, but all of them have like bags under their eyes. They are sleepy, and this show definitely hates children. Like, it hates them and talks about how, like,
and it is derisive toward them and derisive toward like emojis, even though it's a movie for children about emojis. It doesn't like either of them. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
But then it feels like it also doesn't like the children are so immersed in their phones and they can't talk because words aren't cool. And they can't write or express themselves because they're just like stupid mindless zombies walking around with these, and you see them in the background, and like they're all just like looking at their phones constantly, but they're also so low energy for 15-year-olds. Like, none of them are like kicking a hacky sack or throwing a ball around or like laughing. You see them talking, but they're just kind of like standing there talking. Like, they are all meh for some reason. And it feels like maybe these children are looking at screens too long. Like, their circadian rhythm is off, and they need, like, their skin is just like pale and weird, and like a movie that's so brightly colored. Like, the children are gray. We have gray children happening. And yeah, it feels like this movie hates children, hates emojis, and hates phones. And it's like, these phones are killing you. Like, you look awful.
You can hear
like shit, children.
Some Sony executives in some of the lines where they're like, Emojis are the most important form of communication, and like their worlds revolve around their phones. Which we talked about it before. I don't feel like my world revolves around my phone. I feel like my phone revolves around me.
Yeah.
Like it does what I need it to. It's a tool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's a conversation to be had about not spending enough time in nature and dependence on our phones and blah, blah, blah. But, like, yeah, real talk, though. It is a tool that does make our lives easier, and it does it as I want it to. My phone's constantly on silent. It doesn't demand me to do anything. It doesn't ping, and then I'm like, and my receptors flare up, and I grab at it. Like, I look at my phone when I want to. I'm not like constantly on it or at it. I don't know. But this movie really hates phones and children and emojis.
Well, and Anna brought up something in the last viewing, and you kind of cemented it. And again, I didn't really have that many thoughts on my own this viewing. Maybe I'm getting dumber, so I just wrote down everybody else's. But Anna had brought up a point. She was like, it's nice to think there's a bunch of people in my phone who care about me. But that's not really what this movie, it doesn't do a good job of showing that, if that's what it's trying to do. So, like, you were talking about, like, Inside Out. Everyone in her brain loves that little girl.
Love that little girl.
They love her. And, like, Toy Story, everyone loves Andy. We're talking about, we're going to be here for them. We're going to make his childhood great. Like, I mean, even in the fourth one, he has, like, great speeches about what it means to be a toy for a child.
Yes.
I know. But anyway.
And then it doesn't matter in the end.
But the Emoji Movie, like, it would be different if they were if Gene was trying to fix himself or be a better man so that he could help serve the kid whose phone it, I think Alex, whose phone it is, so that he can get with this girl, and everyone's like, you're messing up Alex's life. But instead they're like, Alex is going to delete us because he's this angry god, and it's just bizarre.
Yeah, and he's also, like, kind of impulsive about it. Like, just turn it off and on again, bro.
Yeah,
have you tried turning it off and on again? Like, he never tries. But instead he's just like, I better make an appointment. Like, who does that?
What 15-year-old makes and then keeps an appointment? He shows up early.
He's so weird.
It's so weird. Like, I'm an adult and I don't like dealing with phone store people.
No. There's a lot of children in that phone store. And they all look tired. They all look like shit.
What was your emoji pop?
Oh,
I didn't.
It was the cactus joke.
Oh, it was the cactus joke.
It was me laughing and feeling happy.
I will say the jokes that work are because of the timing.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple jokes where the timing is just really good, and the cactus one is one of those where it's like, yeah, why didn't you?
Yeah,
didn't even try. Like, the timing's good.
I don't really know about the process of making this movie. I know in a lot of animated films they're like not together, but it really. This is one where sometimes it really feels like they're in the same room.
Yeah.
But I don't know that they were. But so maybe it was just whoever like edited it, put it together in a good way. But I mean, it feels like the voice actors are doing a good job with the timing.
I feel like it might be them in the same room, because if it was about down to editing, they would have fixed that line of Jailbreaks where she's like, it's not okay, it's not, I'm sorry, like, real fast.
Shitty delivery. I'm sorry, Anna Faris. But she's like, what is it? Stereotype much? That is an awful thing to say. I'm sorry. Like, immediate.
Real fast, like that timing, yeah. Well, and it's wild because Anna Faris has been a good voice actress in other things, so.
She was in a hurry.
She wanted out. She wanted to be done.
I'm getting my nails done in an hour.
Oh my god. Okay.
Did you say your emoji pop?
I did. It was the spittle on the camera.
Oh, yes. Lovely.
Okay, well, speaking of the tired children and technology, let's go back to, is it from a critic review of the Emoji Movie, or is it from the Unabomber? Oh. Okay. There is a kind of poetry that has emerged. Engaging with it requires you to momentarily, subconsciously imagine that you are living in a language-free totalitarian state. Yet life is a horrible hall of mirrors, and I am powerless to do anything but smile about it.
Emoji Movie?
That's Emoji Movie.
Okay.
That's from the Vulture. I will say, I've edited these slightly, both in the Emoji Movie Critics and the Unabomber, just to make them a little shorter, and to get rid of things that specifically mention, like, film.
That's fair.
You know. The technophiles are taking us all on an utterly reckless ride into the unknown. Many people understand something of what technological progress is doing to us, yet take a passive attitude toward it because they think it is inevitable.
Unabomber?
Good job!
Yay!
Oh, I forgot to write down here. Okay, you got that one right. You got that one right. Not everyone in society suffers from psychological problems. Some people even profess to be quite satisfied with society as it is.
Unabomber?
Good job!
Yay!
Oh my gosh. You know you're Unabomber. I'm going to make you a sticker.
I do think for one of our viewings, maybe one where it's just us, I would like for us to get as much information about Alex as we can.
Ooh, smart.
Like really kind of explore the story within a story.
Okay.
But
I think we could really analyze Alex.
I think so too. I think so too.
I do feel like we felt kind of racist when we were talking about his family, but I hope
it's
not.
so kind of you to say we, because I'm the one that was like, why does this young Mexican boy have all of these black emojis? But that does, I mean, it makes sense. And you know what? I'm glad I said something. Even if it was ignorant and a little embarrassing, I'm glad I said it, because then you could correct me and I learned.
Oh, then we'll analyze Alex.
Black people have children too.
You didn't know, despite a child that has been in this house.
Yes. Whew. On to viewing
Okay.
5, and we'll have some new guests.
We
Is that
will.
right? Okay.
Yeah, we'll have some new guests and possibly another child, though we'll see how much they actually watch of this movie.
Yeah, we'll do this.
And as always, should we go out doing the emoji pop? Okay, ready? We've started learning the dance moves, too.
Oh, we have.
It's coming. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.